Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel once again, where we talk all things health and healing from a holistic perspective. And today will be no different. Today, we're going to talk about the benefits of a cold shower. Now, before you click through this video and say, I'm not watching no video talking about taking cold showers, hear me out. I've taken a cold shower for the last 7 days, okay? Now, I'm one of those people, I do not like cold water. I don't necessarily like the scalding hot water, but I do not like cold water. A lot of times I go on trips, and if the water is too cold, like I'm not getting in the water, okay? So like I'm one of those types. So the very idea of taking a cold shower, I've always been like, nah, I'm cool on that. I'll just eat healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. But the more and more I kept hearing people talk about the benefits of not only a cold shower, but also, doing these ice plunges or ice baths as well too, and started speaking to some of the athletes who were doing them. And because I work out 4 to 5 days a week and my workouts tend to be a little bit intense, I was open to the idea of some new therapy helping me out, okay? And so for the last 7 days, I've taken a cold shower or a ice bath, okay? Which I would literally go to the grocery store, get about 6 to 7 bags of big bags of ice, pour that in the bathtub, and take a bath with it. And so I did that twice in the 7 days, and other 5 days I did the cold shower. And what I will tell you is that I see the benefits. Before I was thinking like these people are out of their damn minds, but now I see the benefits. And so I'm going to share with you some of the benefits that not only I received, but also I was very aware of the studies and the articles around the benefits of a cold shower, a cold therapy. But now I have personal belief now. Okay, so I'm going to share with you some of the benefits of taking a cold plunge in terms of like a cold bath or ice bath, or taking a cold shower. And I'm going to tell you a little bit of a cool way at the end that you could actually do the cold shower where it won't be as bad. So hold tight for that at the end. Okay, so one of the huge benefits of taking a cold shower is this. Whenever your body gets that shock, okay, that shock that comes from the cold, it literally sends your body into this primitive state called fight or flight, okay, or survival mode, okay? And whenever your body goes into this survival state, all types of neurochemicals, hormones, biochemical reactions shift in the body, because the body doesn't know what's going on outside of it. It just knows how to respond to it, okay? And so whenever your body goes from this very comfortable temperature like I'm at right now to boom, I'm in cold water, your body is saying that I got to get out of this, in the consciousness of your body. It's like maybe you fell into a ice cold lake, so it's like, all right, I need to do what I need to do to get this person out of this situation, because we need to survive. So whenever your body goes into this, comes into contact with really cold water, it's going to go into the survival state. And this is what it does. And I've talked about this in previous videos. Your body shifts, okay? It goes in this dire state, okay? Now things like digestion aren't as important, okay? Because now you're in this state of emergency. Your body thinks you're in a state of emergency. And so now all that blood that was concentrated on these very important organs like the heart, the lungs, the digestive system especially, now all that blood is shifted. It's shifted to the things that it believes that is most important during a state of emergency. And so during a state of emergency, you need to be able to move. Okay, so if you fall into an ice cold lake, you need to be able to swim really fast to get out of it. If you're in a state of emergency and all of a sudden you get kicked out of a car and you're in the cold, you need to get out of that. The body needs to heat itself back up, okay? And so one of the things it does to do that, to increase the heat of the body, is it increases circulation, okay? So one of the first benefits to sort of going into the state of coldness from a cold shower or a ice bath is that it increases circulation in the body, okay? And this is always good, okay? This means that new and fresh oxygen are gonna get to tissues and areas of the body that it probably wouldn't have gotten to, because now your body has shifted this blood in like a spur of the moment, and now this blood is circulating to the limbs, to all parts of the body that need oxygen, that need nourishment, because there's also nourishment in the blood as well too. So the number one thing is it increases circulation, which is hugely important. Okay, the blood is the river of life, and if that river isn't flowing, in a case of like gangrene, when your tissues stop getting blood flow, the blood will begin to pool. And once it begins to pool, it can lead to tissue breakdown. Okay, so hugely important. That's one of the number one benefits of doing a cold shower or a cold plunge in an ice bath. Okay, so number two is that whenever your body gets shifted or it gets come into contact with cold water or cold temperatures very quickly, some of the things that it's going to do is it going to sort of stimulate this type of fat called brown cell fat, okay? So brown fat is really important because brown fat activates whenever it comes into contact with cold temperatures. And one of the primary functions of brown fat is to increase the temperature of the body, okay? So if, you're out in the winter and let's say you're in Chicago and it's a blizzard, that brown fat is heating up the body, okay? So whenever you actually come into contact with very, very cold temperatures, especially all of a sudden like this, where you're going, from a warm shower to a cold shower, you're doing an ice bath, it's going to stimulate that brown fat, and that brown fat is going to generate heat in the body and start to burn fat, okay? So it's generating that heat, burning fat, increasing the temperature of the body so that you don't get too cold, okay? And that is definitely a benefit. You want to be burning fat, okay? So that's another benefit, number two. Number three, it decreases muscle soreness, okay, post-workout. Now, this is one of the benefits that I definitely experienced, throughout my 7 days of doing a cold shower and a cold ice bath, okay? As I said before, I work out 4 to 5 days a week, and my workouts lately have been intense, and they tend to intensify, especially during the summertime, because, I can go outside now. I can work out outside, so it's hotter outside to work out. I'm eating more fruit, so I have more energy, okay? I'm eating more raw things. And so as a result of that, I tend to work out not only more, I tend to work out harder as well too. And I end up having to pay for it, okay? So end up with a lot of muscle soreness and some stiffness. And that's one of the benefits that I definitely received from doing these ice baths was literally I would come home all stiff after doing, 5, 6, 7 sets of squats, 12 to 15 reps, doing a whole bunch of calisthenics on top of that, and then come home, be all sore because I beat my body up. And then all of a sudden I take this cold plunge and now my body feels good. My body felt like instantly some of the soreness went away, okay? And so that makes sense too. I mean, what do we do whenever we have something that's swollen? We put ice on it, okay? And that's supposed to reduce the swelling. And so that's one of the definite major benefits that I actually experienced during this 7 days is that decreased muscle soreness post-workout, which is huge because now my recovery time goes down, which means that I can get back in the gym and perform like I need to. So that was huge as well too. And the other reason why this works so well is because, again, you're increasing circulation as well too, as I mentioned before. And as you increase circulation, what happens? You're able to pull some of that lactic acid out of those areas of the muscle that are actually pooling that lactic acid in that blood in those areas, okay? So that's one of the reasons why I would actually not only decrease the muscle soreness, but actually decrease your recovery time as well too. And it also relaxes the muscles too. I noticed that initially when you get into the ice bath or you turn the water on cold, your body tenses up. And then what you'll notice is, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but I use this as an opportunity to kind of calm myself down. And as I was doing this, I noticed that, my muscles went from this tense state to now they just relaxed. Okay, so and especially once I got out of the cold shower, the ice bath, I definitely felt like my muscles were relaxing. Okay, another huge benefit, I definitely noticed this one as well too, especially when I started looking in the mirror, where my skin and my hair had a glow up. Okay, and I didn't anticipate that one. Now, I have read about that in some of the articles and studies, and I'm like, yeah, I can see it with the skin, but the hair too. Yeah, I actually experienced it. And the reason why it works so well with the skin is because you get skin tightening. So it tightens up your skin. It closes up the pores. So a lot of you who have those pores that are really huge and you can see the pores on your face, on your skin, what you'll notice is that you're consistently taking these cold showers, ice baths, is that the coldness actually causes those pores to close up. Okay. Now, the huge benefit that comes with that when it comes to hair is now you're not losing all those natural oils that your skin and your hair is producing. Okay. So that's a huge, huge benefit. Okay. So I saw a glow up with the hair. And I also noticed that my skin wasn't as dry. And that's also a benefit as well, too. As opposed to taking very hot showers, you'll notice that your skin gets very dry after a hot shower as opposed to a cold shower. So I really enjoyed that as well, too. Another benefit was it increases metabolism. Now, I can't say I experienced this one, but it makes sense because, again, when your body goes into this survival state where it's experiencing these extreme cold temperatures in a very short amount of time, it's just natural for the body to want to create homeostasis, which is to balance out the temperature. Okay, so it creates this condition known as thermogenesis, where it's creating heat. Okay, it's manufacturing heat. That can come from shivers, that can come from other things as well too, that can come from blood circulation. But those two acts increase the metabolism in the body as well too. So now as the metabolism increases, now you're burning more calories as well too. Okay, so that's another huge benefit because now it's going to help you out with that weight loss journey as well too. So you can get that flat stomach back. All right, the other benefit, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but it decreases inflammation as well too. And I definitely noticed that. I tend to have certain areas depending on what day and what I'm doing during my workout. Well, I can almost anticipate after I do this workout, I know this area is going to be inflamed and sore. And what is inflammation? Inflammation is like a fire, okay, that needs to be put out. One of the best things that you can do that with is ice, okay, or cold temperatures. Okay, so sitting in that ice bath. Now, I'll tell you, I sat in the ice bath for about 5 to 7 minutes, okay? And then I would get out and then I would get back in, okay? So that's how I did my ice baths. I'll tell you how I did my showers in a minute. But one of the things I definitely noticed was, again, not only did it decrease muscle soreness post the workout, but I also noticed that there was less inflammation as well too. Okay, so that was a huge benefit because, again, this is going to decrease recovery time and it allow me to get back in the gym the way that I want to be back in the gym as well too. All right, the number 7 thing, it relieves localized pain. Now, this is something that I've actually worked with people before in the past. And I had this kid who had an issue with cellulitis on his finger or hand. I can't remember which one. And the doctors had given this kid at least 3 rounds of antibiotics. It still didn't work. And it was only getting worse. And so I had the mother do hot cold therapy at home. And what that means is literally going from ice water, literally like a glass jar with ice and water in it, and then putting it in warm water and going back and forth and back and forth. And what I noticed was not only did it help to reduce the pain, because that was the real issue that she was like, well, just can you give me something to help him with the pain? Well, not only did it reduce the pain, but it also caused the infection to go away. And that was a little bit of a small surprise. But I wasn't surprised because, again, does cold water do? Especially when you're going back and forth with hot cold therapy, it's going to increase circulation to the area. When you're increasing circulation, not only increasing the blood flow, but you're increasing the nutrients, but you're also delivering those immune cells to the area as well too. Those hard to get areas, which are our hands, our feet, our lower legs. Okay, so simply by stimulating the circulation, we got more of the immune system there as well. So not only did it help with the localized pain, but it helped with the infection as well too. All right, number 8, it reduces stress. Okay, it reduces stress too. Now I really can't. I'll be honest with you. I can't really explain why it reduces stress, but I can give you my theory on it. One of the things that I noticed was the first couple of days as I was getting in the ice bath or getting in the cold or doing the cold shower, was I noticed that, man, it was a shocker to my body when I started to do, the turn the water to cold. Like my body would literally go into this emergency state. My mind would start to tell me, get out of this water, turn it back to warm. And what I would notice is that as time went on, those alert signals got more and more silent. Okay. And as I became to, when I, as I became more conscious about that, what I realized was that over time, it's going to become less and less in the beginning too. Okay. It's going to be less and less of a shocker to my body as well too. And so what I try to do is, be mindful throughout the process. Immediately when I turned it to cold, I wanted to be more mindful about what my body was telling me what was going on versus what was going on. My body was screaming at me like, hey, we're in a state of emergency, get us out of here. But what I was being mindful about was looking at the reality. I just simply turned the knob to cold. That's all I did. And I could turn it back to warm anytime I wanted to. And so I had the power to end this. So there was no need for me to fear. And what I've noticed was that it improved not only from the beginning of every day after that, but it also kind of made me calmer throughout the day as well too. So that's my theory on it, is that as you practice this mindfulness and you're stimulating your immune system, which is in this case your sympathetic nervous system, which is the stress system, which is the alert system, and it is going crazy, you're also, essentially creating an exercise for your nervous system to calm itself down. Okay, so I think that's part of the practice as well too. When you're doing these cold plunges in an ice bath or a cold shower, is to practice that mindfulness too, so that you can kind of overcome your body's alert systems by being conscious about the process and being mindful to tell your body, hey, there's nothing to worry about. And the body is simply a slave to the mind. It will do whatever the mind tells it to do. Okay. Number 9. Number 9 is it could and may possibly increase testosterone. Now, I haven't gone to the doctor, so there's no way I can tell you that it increased my testosterone. But according to many studies, and the information is blurred out there, whether or not it does or doesn't. But there's a lot of very significant journals and articles out there that have done a lot of great work that says that it can not only increase testosterone, but it actually can increase your sperm count as males as well too. And part of that, again, like I'm always trying to think, well, how could that actually happen? Well, one of the issues that we have today is a lot of, like us as humans, like we've evolved. Okay. In the beginning of time, like we weren't walking around with all these clothes on throughout the day. Okay. We were walking around maybe with something to cover up the private parts, and that about it, especially during great weather. And so, our gonads, our testicles were constantly being exposed to air. Okay, as opposed to now, we got on a pair of boxers or underwear, and then on top of that, we have a pair of pants or shorts on. Okay, so our testicles are constantly in this environment of heat. Okay, and so as a result of going through this cold plunge or a cold shower, now your testicles are now being exposed to coolness. Okay, and now think about that for a second. Like a man's testicles could be inside of the body, but they're not. Okay, like a woman's ovaries are inside of the body. A man's testicles are outside, they're external. So there must be a reason for that. and that reason possibly could be, because the inside of our bodies is around about 97, 98 degrees. Okay, so that's pretty hot. But on the outside of our bodies, it's cooler. Okay, so that could be the very reason why, a cold plunge or a cold shower could help you actually stimulate, testosterone production, and also increase your sperm count as well too. And that's one of the things that they tell men to do who have low sperm counts as well too, is to use these ice packs or cooling gel packs as well too. And so that makes sense as well too. Now, a few tips if you're going to try this. Few tips. All right, so you need to lower the water temp to less than 60 degrees. Now, most of us don't have 60 degrees on the on the knob in the shower or in the bathtub, but it needs to be cold enough to be mild, to be just uncomfortable. Okay. The other thing is you need to expose yourself for at least 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Now here's a tip for you. Get a little water here. Here's a tip for you. You can rotate back between warm or lukewarm water to cold. So you can do that for 3 bouts. So you can go back to the warm and then do cold for a minute, then go back to the warm and then do cold for another minute, then go back to the lukewarm, then do cold for another minute. That is actually helpful as well too, because now you're exercising not only, your body's nervous system, but you're also stimulating the immune system as well too, going back and forth. Now, I'll give you guys some cases where you definitely shouldn't do this. If you are already sick, and your immune system is compromised, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that back and forth therapy. It may be too much for you, okay? If you have problems in terms of like physical problems in the shower, then you definitely don't want to do the shower. You may want to consider the ice plunge, but I would definitely be a little bit cautious about that. To start off, I would always tell people, if you have any mobility problems, you can start off in the bathtub. That way you're just sitting down into the water and it's not too much of a shock to you. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. If you already take cold showers or, you do ice baths, tap into the comments. Let me know what your experience has been as well too, especially if you've seen some of the benefits that we talked about today. Okay, peace.